Peace and love, everyone. Thanks for being here live. My friends, thanks for being here live. Thanks for being here by recording too. The numbers are people watching and recording. So I've been facing a fear of mine. And the fear that I've been facing is no teleprompter. So I've been going back kind of old school these days, writing out notes by hand and reading off the notes, and it makes it a little more spontaneous, but which means, kind of dancing on the edge there. Because that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about overcoming bad habits or habits and uh, overcoming fear. These things that hold us back, that get in our way in our practical life and in our spiritual life in particular. All right, so let me grab my notes here. Welcome. Thanks for being here, everybody. So, are you troubled by some fears? Do you have some fears that trouble you? Are you locked in place by some habits that are in your way that you want to overcome? And I realized I was slouching away from my mic just then. So, how would you overcome these habits? What tool could you use to overcome the habit of fear? Fear can is a chemical reaction. It can be you're afraid of getting hit by somebody as you go through an intersection and they run the red light, or you're afraid of the person that you're in a relationship with. These are real things that cause necessary fear. But I'm not talking about those necessary fears. I'm talking about the fears that are in the mind, that are in the way, that become habitized, inhabiting your mind, and how to overcome those. We've been studying the Yoga Sutras here on this channel, but also in our Zoom group in depth for a long time now, and practicing Kriya Yoga and discovering this that all of the techniques that we've been talking about from the Yoga Sutras over the past several episodes on this channel here, but also in our Zoom group, is that they all teach single-mindedness. All these different techniques teach the habit of of self-mind control through placing the mind in a single spot. And we've covered things like um, repetition of a chant. We've covered picturing an image. We've covered feeling the divine energy and a few other things. And today we're going to cover the most unusual one of them all, which is the thing that makes it very clear that what Pantajali is talking about is single-mindedness, is that he basically says you can meditate on anything. You can meditate on anything, and it will free your mind from ungrasping. From grasping is what I mean. Free your mind to ungrasping, from grasping. And the thing about fearful habits is that it's about mind grasp. It's rumination. People ruminate regularly over the things that they fear. We also might call this worry. So, would you like to overcome your worries that don't pan out anyway? I mean, you worry, 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 and then this thing never happens. And you spend all this time in this fearful state, this habit of fearful state. When you like to not be there, it's totally possible and not that difficult. It all has to do with what Pantajali has been talking about all the way along here, which is single-mindedness. So here's the thing of it too. It's not just about fears. There's spiritual fears too. Some people, most people maybe even, are afraid of losing their identity, their egoic identity. And this fear is the fundamental power of the egoic mind, preventing us from the practice of open palm mind, not grasping, non-attachment. Meditation and single-mindedness helps us overcome that, which reveals to us our eternal nature, our eternal nature now, in the now, ungrasping the self-identity, which is fleeting and temporary. Now, all meditation is brain training. It just is. It's a habit, you could say. My grandmother used to say there are good habits and bad habits, and both are habits. a practice of meditation, a ritualized practice of meditation, which is one of the reasons why I keep showing up here on Mondays and Wednesdays live. And I thank the people who show up here with me, is because it teaches a ritual, a ritualization of the practice itself, which develops into a habit. And the habit becomes this necessary thing that I feel that I need to do. Without it, I feel somewhat ungrounded in the world. If I don't drink water, I'm like, "Oh, uh, what's wrong with me? Am I hungry? Why do I feel hmm." Meditations like that on a regular basis. So, Sutra 139, and he starts with Pantajali. And the other thing I wanna add here is that Pantajali didn't invent this stuff, okay? The, uh, it's understood in Indian scholarly circles that, or it's believed, let me put it this way, it's believed that the organization of the Indian culture 5,000 years ago was at such a comparative height to the Egyptians. And you can look this up for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. Um, and uh, I in such a way of their organization of literature and language and commerce and all these other aspects of a higher civilization and building architecture, engineering, design, all these things, that same persnicketyness was applied to spirituality. And that long before the Vedas were written down, people were practicing yoga as a way to explore the mind. And the meditation is an exploration of the mind. They had some term for it, something like, and I don't remember the name. It's something like, it means the highest form of science is the exploration of consciousness. And the techniques used for that all center in single-mindedness, breath and mind and control. And so let's switch pages here and go to uh, what 139 means. It says, where did I write 139? There it is. Or, and he begins with the word or, because he's listed all these other techniques that we've covered. You can look back and see for yourself, learn. Or by contemplating, concentrating, meditating, reflecting on whatever is suitable. Pick whatever you want. By concentrating, meditating, reflecting on whatever is suitable. Because, and we're gonna further on in Pantajali says, he says, well, but the deity that you attach your heart to becomes manifest to you. This is true, and but also separate from what we're talking about, because the technique of brain training is consistent through all the forms of meditation. But there is this one other thing he throws in later, that if you set your mind on the divine, that's what you get. So, but let's set that one aside. We're going to come to that later anyway. Or by contemplating, concentrating, meditating, reflecting on whatever is suitable, holy, elevating, divine, or good thing, or just a good thing. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a symbol or the divine. It could just be a good thing, like a sunny day. A sunny day with a blue sky and nothing to do, and the wind is a breeze, and you're feeling great. It's the perfect temperature, and you got a picnic, and there are no mosquitoes, and you're just a good thing. Pick a good thing, or a symbol, or something sacred, or something holy, which is what I ended up doing myself. I picked something holy, something you may like, or something you are drawn to. So something good, something you like, something you're drawn to. Maybe you like the color blue. Maybe there's this tint of blue that is your most favorite in the world, and you can choose that if you want to. Um, but there's a word here called dhyana, and it's deep spiritual meditation. It breaks down this kind of deep spiritual meditation, even if it's just on the color blue, breaks down the mundane and fearful habits because it undermines beneath it. All of these techniques undermine beneath the trauma wounds that we have. So in psychotherapy and behavioral therapy, we focus on on the trauma, on the causations of the trauma wounds, and then on the trauma wounds themselves to try to understand what they are. And by understanding what they are and behaving differently, which is what we're talking about with the brain training, we're behaving differently with our minds. It undermines the trauma wounds, but meditation in particular undermines all of them because it undermines the very self identity that we project as being real, as lasting, even though it's totally temporary, passing through eternal life and all that, that we end the years and know is true. So you could choose a symbol of your choice, maybe a symbol, maybe there's something from your religious past that you like this symbol, or you've picked up another symbol from another religion, or you have your own symbol or a number. I used to meditate on the number one. I one, which just turns out to be a pretty good one because that it kind of aims at the oneness of being. But you could pick the number 343 if you want to, or pick a color, but pick something to focus your mind on. And the thing about single-minded practice is that it's it holds to a place and 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 holds to a place over and over and over again until the plasticity of the mind becomes more increasingly capable of singular minded focus, which leads to the cessation of all thought, which puts one in the position of listening to the divine. When I began all of this practice, I came back with this divine energy inside of me, and I chose that. That's I use chanting for sure. I definitely have a chant, and I use my chant, but the chant is what gets me to this divine ball of energy, this radiance that I am, this internal higher self that I actually am, that I experience every freaking moment of my life, whether I want to or not. I decided to swim with the stream and try to enhance it through meditation techniques because I found that in resistance to it, I struggled. In cooperation with it, my struggle is vastly reduced because it helps me overcome my fears. And it helps me overcome my fears in two ways. It shows me its eternal nature in all things. Like I got a little desk guy right here. My little chipmunk friend just showed up. He's not afraid of me, and I'm not afraid of him. It shows me my eternal nature and his too. If it's a him, I haven't really looked, but it could be a her. There's a pair. It shows me my eternal nature and it quiets down my fearful mind. So, in a practical way, I stop my ruminations over my fears. I'm afraid of this test. Oh my God. Over and over and over again, I say this. Oh, I'm afraid of this test. All I do is build my fear inside myself. I feed the trauma I give to myself. One can interrupt those thoughts by focusing on the divine, by focusing on a color and repeating that over and over, visualizing that over and over again. It's all about mind training, brain training to quiet the self, touch the stillness. All right, I hope that helps. Kind of went on a little long today. Let's see. Hey, everybody who's here. Thanks for being here. Lynn, live. Judith, Wendy, good morning. Single mindedness leaning towards love with a capital L. Wendy, that's exactly what we're after here. Exactly so. Thank you, Catherine. And thanks for being here all the time, having my back as an admin person. Super appreciated. All right. So let's do I've been trying to give a little bit of beginner stuff, and if you're just joining us for meditation, and a little bit of more advanced practice. But today I was going to look at something else, but today's just pick something. Pick a whatever. I'm trying to do a New York accent. Pick a whatever. Um, or a Boston accent, which is my accent, whatever. Pick a whatever. And focus on that today. And pick a color, pick a number, pick a symbol, picture it in your mind. Explore its many facets of its symbolism for you if you pick a symbol. Explore the many facets of its symbolism. If you're picking the color blue, explore all the color blues that you can imagine. But keep your mind in control, in the flow. That's the trick of it. Don't let the mind wander off. Come back and come back and come back. The fewer words you use, the better off you are in this type of technique. All right. Hope that's helpful. I'm going to put my feet on the floor, eyes closed. I believe I have a timer set. I set a whole bunch of them. All right. Feet are flat. Let me walk you into this a little bit. Hands are in the overlapping mula, or you can do something like this too. Right? Often do something like that. Finger and thumb touching, fingers overlapping, resting on my lap in front of my groin, feet flat on the floor. Spread your toes. If you have shoes on, press up against the sides a little bit, but if you're barefoot, spread them out wide. Relax your feet, the calves. Scan up your body, relaxing as you go. Particularly on the exhale, relax those shoulders. Pick a color, pick a number, pick a symbol, pick a divine entity. I choose the light itself. The energy of the bliss. Hold the object in your mind's eye. Stay there in your head. Chant the name of the object if it helps. Hold the picture in your mind. Use your breath to hold your focus. Control. and love for everybody. Praying for you, Casey, as you begin practicing driving a school bus. Good for you. Prayers for you. Peace, Kristen. The blue of October twilight when the very brightest stars just begin to twinkle. This is Wanda, thank you. Reclaim your quiet space. Day 257. Blessings on you and your heart, Wanda. You ready? That's fast. Yeah. Timelessness. Peace and love, everyone.